During his life, Irish actor Richard Harris was quite open about the ghost living in his Kensington mansion and his relationship with its child spirit. Strangely, Harris had long believed that he was destined to live in the towerhouse after awakening on its lawn there one morning at the age of 24 years, probably after a night of carousing. He eventually purchased the Victorian Gothic-style house nearly a decade and a half later. Harris said that before he moved into the mansion, he hired a professional burglar to break into the property to check how secure his future home was. Although the burglar was aware that the house was unoccupied and empty, upon entering he was startled to hear the sound of a child crying desperately in one of the upstairs rooms. On locating the room and opening the door, the weeping abruptly stopped as the man observed an empty room. After the burglar related his experience to Harris, the Irish actor was entranced by the story and undertook some research. He found out that an 8-year-old boy had been buried somewhere in the tower of the mansion at some point in its history. He speculated that the boy may have been a resident of an orphanage that previously occupied the site. Harris slowly formed a relationship with the spectral child and enjoyed relating the story of his home being haunted by the presence of the small boy. His resident ghost became well known in media circles, and he talked about the boy whom he described as a sitting tenant on the Parkinson and Dick Cavett shows in 1971. He described the ghost as knocking on doors, throwing objects, and ringing bells that could not be found within the house. One night he heard one-fingered playing on the piano in the room next to his bedroom, and on investigating found no one there. However, Harris's friendship with the ghost did not always go smoothly, and he would often reprimand the spirit for frequently waking him in the middle of the night. At first, Harris tried to explain to the boy that he was an actor and needed his sleep, but at times he lost his cool. When Harris's angry outbursts occurred, the ghostly child would scurry up and down the stairs of the tower, slamming doors. His nocturnal activities became particularly annoying when Harris was trying to memorise his lines for the film Cromwell. One night in a fit of fury he shouted, "If you don't shut up, I'll get a priest in to exorcise you." This seemed to quieten the ghostly child for a time, but the perfect solution came when Harris decided to build a nursery at the top of the stairs to the tower. He filled the space with toys and games, resulting in comparative peace as the child's noisy antics calmed down. Harris was known to entertain guests at his Hollywood parties with his tales of the ghost boy in the tower house. It was also said that he enlisted the spirit to entertain friends at home by performing tricks. Harris once commented that he regretted having to travel while making films because it kept him away too long from his home. He was also heard to say that he needed to make buckets of money, mainly to support his haunted house and its noisy little ghost. Before its occupation by Harris in the late 1960s, the Tower House mansion had had an intriguing past. Its architect and first occupant, William Burgess, built it as a home for himself in 1877, but the opium addict passed there 3 years later at the age of 53. He had caught a chill from a long spring jaunt in a dog cart. Colonel T.H. Minshall, DSO, a famous newspaper and magazine magnate, lived in the Tower House during the 1920s. He was also the father of Merlin Minshall, the man on whom Ian Fleming based his James Bond character. Currently, the Tower House is owned by Jimmy Page, founder of Led Zeppelin, who purchased the mansion in the mid-70s when he outbid David Bowie. Page also owns another haunted house near Loch Ness in Scotland. It is said to be a former church which was burnt to the ground with the congregation inside. Another story claims that a man was decapitated there, and his head has been heard rolling around at night by a friend of Page. Despite her self-avowed interest in the occult, in relation to the Tower House, Page does not seem to have spoken of any encounters with Harris's boy ghost there.